This video includes a paid promotion. It's being sponsored by The Coldest Water. The Coldest Water are makers of high-quality water bottles that will keep your beverage cold for up to 36 hours or more. Now, I've been using this bottle for about a week now, and I can say that it's the best water bottle that I've ever owned. I don't think most of us need a water bottle that will go 36 hours. Usually I drink my drink throughout the day, and with this water bottle it seems that the last sip is as cold as the first. If you're in the market for a water bottle, click on the links in my description below. The first link is for a promotional giveaway that you can sign up for. The second link is so that you can shop the Coldest Water, and if you use the promo code MAYOTTE, M-A-Y-O-T-T-E, they'll take 10% off of your order. They have water bottles like this 21-ounce sports bottle all the way up to a 1-gallon jug. Now, what am I working on today? Well, I am getting ready to carve some linoleum so that I can make a block print, a lino cut. And although I have two handles to use for this, one of them is a cheaper plastic one and the other one is a, well, honestly it's a cheap wooden one. But I'd like to have 2 or 3 more. Just because when you're making a lino cut and you're in the middle of carving the linoleum and you're right into the creative process, when you have to stop and change the blades in your tool, it just kind of puts a drag on your creative process. So, as I said, one of the handles that I have is made of wood, and I thought, well, I'm a woodworker, I work with wood all the time on this channel, why don't I make some? So that's what I'm going to do today, using this as an example so it will take the blades that this holds. So let's get out to the shop and see what we can do. So I am cutting some 3/8 inch wide copper rings from this 1/2 inch copper pipe to use as ferrules. There's a hole that runs all the way through this handle, and I want to get it drilled out in the blank before I put it on the lathe, because it would just be much harder to drill out once the piece was already formed. Okay, so I'm back inside with the pieces, and there's still a little more work to do. First of all, off camera, I took one of those ferrules that I cut, excuse me, from the half-inch piece of copper, and I just filed and sanded it a little bit and cleaned it up. And I don't usually like to use copper for ferrules. I usually try to get some brass tubing, or I've even used wire conduit or something like that. But this was what I had on hand, and it'll work fine. It's just a matter of preference. So I have to glue that on there, onto the body of the piece, and I'll do that next. But I wanted to compare what I just turned with what came in the kit. And, you know, they're almost exact. So I'm going to be turning a few more of these, just to have, because it's handy to have all of your knives out. You don't have to fool around with changing the blades and all of that if you have enough handles. So the next thing I want to do, as I said, is secure the ferrule onto here. And for that, I'm just going to use a little bit of super glue gel. Push it down on there good. And that's that. The next thing I have to do is very important to the way that this piece functions. And that is, if you look at the original, you would notice that the hole in the end is is tapered. Just a little bit. And that is because these are tapered. The ends of the blades are slightly tapered, and that helps to hold them in place. It locks them in place when you put them into the handle. And I don't have a tapered reamer, so I looked around to try to find something that I could use to taper the inside of this a little bit. And what I came up with was a file. Now, the end of a file has this tapered end on it that usually goes in the handle. But if I just put it inside there, I can hand ream this. It doesn't really take all that much. You can see the sawdust coming out. And that should be enough. Let's try it out. And that's seated in there about that far. Let's see how far it seats into the original store-bought one. That's actually about the same amount. So I'm just going to give this an extra twist or two because, as I've said before, I don't know when to leave well enough alone. And the final thing that I want to do to this, before I use it, is to put a bit of wax on it. And I have some paste wax up here. Now this is some that I made, and if you make spoons, you would call this spoon butter. And I have a video on how to make spoon butter, which is just paste wax. And I will put the link in the description below. I'm going to take some of this just slather some of it on. I'm going to go over the copper as well, maybe it'll keep it from tarnishing.
Once it's on there, let it set for a few seconds and wipe it off. Like any wax, buff it up a little bit.
And here they are side by side for a comparison. They're pretty much exactly the same, except the one I made has a better ferrule on it. So that's a fun project, and it's useful if you use these tools to make lino cuts or anything else. You could buy these handles fairly inexpensively. I mean, you could buy the whole kit probably for $10 or $12. But it's nice to have 4 or 5 handles so that you can have all the blades going at once, like I said, and you don't have to fiddle. You're in the middle of making something of the creative process, and you have to stop to change the blade. It kind of puts a drag on it. This way you can just reach out and grab the tool that you need because you have plenty of handles. And you can get creative with this, make them out of exotic woods or laminated wood, and just let your imagination run free. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and ring the bell so that you know when I release new videos. And as always, I thank you for watching.